Well, hello there again, whiskey boys and whiskey girls. I hope you have your mouthpiece in, your hands taped, your gloves on, your trunks on, a little bit of Vaseline on the cheeks because the bourbon today that we are going to review packs a serious punch. George T. Stagg Jr. If you don't know the name George T. Stagg, you need to get to know it. George T. Stagg is one of those synonymous names when discussing bourbon. Very influential, very impactful, very just good at what they do. Their original, if you will, George T. Stagg bottling, you're probably familiar with. You may be wondering what Stagg Jr. is, and I'll get to that right now. The differences are this. Whereas George T. Stagg original is released once a year, this guy's released a few times a year. Price point wise, the George T. Stagg original, you're looking at $70 to $80. This one's about $49.99. 8 to 9 years old. George T. Stagg's about 17 years old. So there are some differences. But the hopes, I think, by the guys at Stagg was this may be a little easier for folks to get their hands on, aficionados like myself, and it's, on top of that, a little more affordable. So, guys, this stuff is no joke. I said it packs a punch, and the reason I say that is this. We're talking 66.05% alcohol, 132.1 proof, unfiltered, uncut. This is man's game bourbon. Right out of the barrel. No diluting it, no filtering it, obviously no flavors in it. It's some serious bourbon, kids. It's hot. It comes swinging the big bat, and I'm excited to review this one for you. I have tasted this one before, but not with you. So this is the first time I'll be cracking into this bottle. As you know, I typically go ahead and taste every spirit that we taste neat, because I think that's the most impartial, easiest way to judge the liquor for what it is. I'm going to do that today. However, I'm also going to give probably a couple spoonfuls of ice water because this stuff is so hot. So let's jump right into it. I'm really excited to talk about this one today. This one is just, if you like smoke, you like cayenne pepper, you like leather, you like an over-oaked flavor, you will love this stuff. But it is not for the faint-hearted. That is certainly true. I like the bottle. Let's talk about the bottle real quick before I jump into it. Very simple, kind of a small, squat bottle. Those Stagg antlers there. Talks about the proof and the unfiltered, uncut. In the back, it kind of looks the same. It does tell you, though, this one does come from Buffalo Trace. I did neglect to mention that, so I'm glad I flipped that one over. And I will read this very briefly. George T. Stagg, born in Kentucky, December 19, 1835. Stagg built the most dominant American distillery in the 19th century on the banks of the Kentucky River during a time known as the Gilded Age of Bourbon. The distillery survived floods, fires, droughts, and even prohibition, when it made whiskey for medicinal purposes. Today, Buffalo Trace Distillery strives to carry on the tradition of its famous forefather, uncut and unfiltered. This robust bourbon whiskey ages for nearly a decade and boasts the bold character that is reminiscent of the man himself. Hold that. Sorry, guys, I wouldn't turn my dehumidifier off. Hope that white noise wasn't bothering you too much. All right, this one is slightly lighter in color, because of the age, probably, than the traditional Stagg is. But like I said, doesn't lack any of the flavor, that is for sure. Oh, man. You can already just, you just get it. Just get the aroma, you're getting the scent as soon as you open this thing. Careful around open fires with this one. This is about as high as a proof of alcohol that I am going to review. I don't do, Bacardi 151 and these gimmicky overproof spirits they just, quite frankly, do it as a gimmick. It's basically, jet fuel. This stuff's getting close, but this is actually a true bourbon, so that's why I'm going to review this one for you guys. All right, flavor-wise, or color-wise, I'm sorry. Very traditional. Like I said, a little lighter than an older bourbon would be. It's kind of more of a golden color than that dark brown that you'll see with stuff getting up into 12, 15, 21 years. On the nose, spice, just spice, clove, cinnamon, smoke, dark cherry. Almost like a vanilla. Oaks, leathers. Everything you'd anticipate, everything you'd want as a bourbon guy. Let's give this one a shot. You don't ever see me make that face after tasting something. And I can't drive. No. Man, it is what you think it's going to be. You get hit with that dryness or almost that puckering feeling in the back of your throat as that alcohol almost takes the moisture and just zaps it from the tongue and throat and the gums and your cheeks. Yeah. Hot. Yeah, that one's good. That one will put hair on your chest. Like I said, it packs a punch. Like my buddy Muhammad Ali, whose home state, ironically, is Kentucky, the home of bourbon. All right, well, I didn't talk too much about the flavor. It's so hot. The flavors that I mentioned are prevalent and they're there. But it's hard to make out much else because of just the sheer alcohol volume in this. So I always recommend, by the way, use a teaspoon if you're going to add water. And I put ice in it just to kind of cool it down. I'm going to give it 2 spoonfuls. Let's see how, if any, that changes the profile of this. Sure does. Let me try one more. Yeah, I got a little more honey in the nose that last time. Opens up yeah, it opens it up a lot actually. Some butterscotch comes through. It's mellowed. It's just mellowed. It's not, instead of that uppercut, it's more of a little jab. Sorry about the boxing analogies. I can't resist now. Now we get a nice velvety mouthfeel. I mean, it's still formidable, no question. But it's approachable now. So I would definitely recommend adding water to this one unless you are just someone that just doesn't mind that jet fuel, like I said. It's a great bourbon. It is. I don't mean to knock the bourbon. I'm just saying it's strong. It can overwhelm. It can overwhelm the palate for sure, and kind of not allow you to taste some of the things you want to taste in a bourbon. I'm gonna try one more spoonful, and even this is rare. A cube of ice, a little teeny cube of ice. Now we're just having fun. It's funny. You add that much water to a typical whiskey, and you're left with kind of a diluted, watery tasting thing. This thing is still there, still kicking. So very good bourbon. At the $49.99 range, I say pick it up. I think it's an absolutely really good investment. Plus, it's a Stagg. I mean, who doesn't want a Stagg in their bar? That speaks volumes. That means you're credible. I'll give it an 8.0 for a bourbon score, which is a very, very high score. Thank you all very, very much again for joining me. Stay tuned for more bourbon reviews. Please subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, and as always, glasses up.